my job doesn't get any easier over here. I can sit around and try to keep everybody honest. I can try to bring them up intellectually, psychologically, and make them more sophisticated until I'm red in the face and out of words. But I can't make them act. I grew up on a farm. You've heard the expression, but I've seen it with my own eyes. You can lead a horse to water, but you can't make him drink. It's a very real thing. Look, Dominick Reyes and John Błachowicz, okay? Very clearly, one of them was going to become the number one contender. Dominick was the number one contender. He's either going to hold that spot with his incredible, controversy-worthy performance over Jon Jones, where most people, I think in fairness, even Jon Jones, thought that Reyes is going to leave with the title. Definitely warrants a rematch. I would go as far of a compliment to pay Reyes that he may be the breakthrough fighter of 2020. Oh, and by the way, he's only fought once in 2020. Oh, and I should add, he lost that fight. He still might be the breakthrough fighter. As good as he is, as good as he believed he was, the rest of us didn't know. We knew he was a talented guy, and he's also next to get fed to the lion known as Jon Jones. What? Wrong. Reyes is real. Reyes belongs. Reyes deserves to be there. Big high praise. Jon Jones himself said it was all ready to go, ready to fight Reyes, ready to give him a rematch. And Jon Jones, since he has come back, has been nothing short of a man of his word. Old Jon Jones would have flicked him away. New Jon Jones said, absolutely, that fight, you're great, let's run it back. Okay. A week later, Jan Błachowicz fights. Jon Jones shows up. It happens to be in Albuquerque. Jon Jones sits in the front row. Błachowicz wins. Błachowicz calls out Jon Jones. Jon Jones, 1 week later, is now willing to not fight Reyes, but fight Błachowicz. Jon Jones, who's been nothing but a man of his word since he's come back, that's great news for Błachowicz. And Jon did absolutely nothing wrong. Jon saw a great fight, got called out, accepted the fight. Point for Jon Jones. Minus points for Jan, minus points for Dom. Whenever you're in this situation, it is very clear there is going to be a mandate. Politics are going to be at play. Your base versus his base. Your voice versus his voice. Battle it out in the media. One of you gets the power of the pen and gets the nod. Jon Jones is not blocking either of you. That's great news for you. Fans are behind Jan. Fans are behind Dominick. Why have I not heard from Dominick? Why have I not heard from Jan? Do they not understand the game that we're in right now? The game that they're in. Right this very second is to battle each other out for influence within the office and get their name written on a piece of paper and put in a fax machine and sent over to them. That is their fight that they are in right now. They are both playing it terribly. The only good news for Jan is that Reyes is as awful of a player as he is. The only good news going for Reyes is that he's just as bad at this game as Jan. So it kind of washes each other out. I do find it very stunning, though, that they're not aware that that is exactly what the battle is right now. And if they're leaving it to, I think my manager can get this done. Yeah, my manager knows Dana's number. In fact, he's going to call him tomorrow. Yeah, I know. He told me he's going to call him. That's your plan? I don't have the foggiest idea how these guys aren't out there banging a drum to the highest of levels, beating their chest, screaming and begging from the rooftops to try to get that fight, if it is truly what they want. Perhaps they are just not equipped with the skills to follow through on what I'm saying. Perhaps. Or perhaps they don't really want to fight Jon Jones. But there is no in between. It would seem to us, the viewing audience, that they both want that fight, and they both have a very strong argument as to why it should go to them. Neither of them is choosing to make that argument, at least not public, which is a sucker's move at best. And at worst, you have to consider the other side of the coin, which is they don't want that fight. Seemed like a good idea in the moment, seemed like a cool thing to say at the press conference, but in truth, hey, Jan, you take the fight. You know what, Reyes? That was a little controversial. Why don't you take the fight? It's one of these two. My own coworker, who is also my friend, Paul Felder, who I'm friends with his whole team, including his coach, Duke Rufus, And you know what's coming. But, because I got to beat Felder over the head right now, too. Felder just comes out, does a great big media interview where we all were a little worried he was going to retire. I mean, Felder's amongst everybody's favorite fighter. Is that fair? If you had to come up with the top 5 list of guys that you're not going to miss fight, Felder's going to make everybody's list, right? Okay. So we've got this little possible retirement being dangled out there. And it's like, well, Paul, if we really do like you, then we got to back whatever it is you want to do. Selfishly, we're hoping that you change your mind. Great. He comes out in an interview. He changed his mind. Wonderful. But then guess what he says? He wants to fight in Ireland. It has to be, if he's going to come back, it has to be something big. It has to be something special. And the big and special thing that he calls for is a fight in a building located in the country of Ireland. What the what? But that's not a story. What's big about that? It's brick and mortar. Somebody who didn't love to go to class as much as they loved to go to a party on the weekend threw some carpet down and some paint on the walls. That's not a story. You want to go fight in a building that happens to be geographically located in Ireland? That's the big deal? That's not a big deal. That's a long flight is what that is. Who do you want to fight? And I got to remind my own Paul. Paul, Dan Hooker got a fight with you because he called you out by name. He even went a step further and called you out face to face. Better than that, he had a date of February 2nd. He had a location of Auckland. He had a reason, which is I want a top 10 opponent. You and I are separated by 1 in the rankings. You're standing right here. I'm right here. What do you think? You can't run that back. You have 57,000 live people in an auditorium hearing that, and you have a worldwide audience on ESPN. It would be irresponsible and foolish of any promoter to not use the $3 million in marketing that just happened for him organically. To try and sell and perpetuate that fight in billboards and countdown shows and social media and digital to try with $2 to $3 million. And I might be a little bit high in all fairness, but I think I'm proving my point. They just did it for him. Hooker did it for him. I'm making a piece right now on Paul Felder. I don't have anything to tell you guys. I don't have anybody to tell you Paul wants to fight. I don't have any reason why Paul is doing the fight. I find it a little bit confusing that he wants a main event fight, that he's even demanding a main event fight, when a main event fight, if it doesn't qualify you for a number 1 contendership, really just means that now you're going to have to work 70% harder, fight 70% longer for the same participation. I find that a little bit baffling, but I find a lot of things Paul Felder does baffling. It's quite frankly what I respect about the son of a bitch, okay? Paul Felder marches to a beat of a different drum. The harder, the better. That's what he likes and that's what he wants. But he's got his story to tell and he called for brick and mortar? I need something special. I need some brick and mortar and some carpeting and some place that has concessions and some plumbing in here called a bathroom. What? I give a damn if you want to fight in Ireland. What's Ireland got to do with anything? I'm watching it from my TV. I give a goddamn if they set that cage up in the backyard somewhere. Bring in some lights, bring in some sound, bring in some action. I sit down, I push a button. What's the difference? I'm confused. I'm confused how that is a call out. I'm confused how a member of the media who is a top fighter, proof that he is a top fighter is he hinted at retirement and the whole community went crazy and begged him not to do it. Paul Felder matters, period. Paul Felder absolutely matters. And now he called out a geographical location that has nothing to do with anything for the fan base unless you happen to live within 10 square miles of that facility. Otherwise, the rest of us are pushing a button and watching it on Plus.